Hey gaming fans, so today's another Yu-Gi-Oh card talk, and I just wanted to talk about the bamboo swords. These things have been around for a while. There's, new one that just came out in the Darkwing Blast set. And I was just kind of looking at the different ones, and I thought it'd be fun to just kind of talk about it. So the first one obviously was Broken Bamboo Sword. That was the one that originally came out, and I remember back when that card came out that a lot of people were kind of confused about it. They were wondering why this card existed and what was the point of it. People were even kind of confusing the effect. So basically, it's an equip card. You equip it to a monster, and that monster gains 0 attack. And I remember some people actually thought it meant it reduced the monster down to 0 attack. They were kind of misreading the card. And, obviously that's not the case. If that was the case, it would have been actually a pretty decent card. People could have actually used it for something. I mean, you could equip it to any monster and then just attack with anything higher than a 0 attack. But, unfortunately, that's just not how it works. The card essentially does nothing on its own. It just sits there, giving you 0 attack. So, people were kind of confused about it. And then, we have all these other cards. I'm not going to talk to them in the order that they were released, but just in the fact that they exist. So, Golden Bamboo Sword came out. It's just a regular spell card, and if you can only activate it if you control a bamboo sword. You get to draw 2 cards. So obviously now we got some kind of reason to want to play Broken Bamboo Sword, because now we get a little bit of draw power. And of course, equip cards have a few ways of getting them to your hand. There's like Hidden Armory, I think it's called. There's a few different cards that actually pull this to your hand quite easily, and then you're ready to start drawing some cards. But unfortunately, when you do this, you kind of stuff your deck full of just bad cards, like cards that absolutely do nothing just so you can try and draw a card. So eventually we were given Cursed Bamboo Sword, which is actually not a curse for us, it's more of a blessing, because this card actually has a lot more to it. So the equipped monster gains 0 attack. So much like the Broken Bamboo Sword, this also gives 0 attack. I guess they wanted to keep this theme of it being 0. So you can target one other bamboo sword card you control. So it could be, maybe you have the Broken Bamboo Sword. Then if you do, the equipped monster can attack and you return it to the hand, sorry. And if you do, the equipped monster can attack your opponent directly this turn. So basically with this equipped to the monster, if you have another sword, another Cursed Bamboo Sword, or a Broken Bamboo Sword, you can equip it, bounce it back, and now your monster can attack directly. But it still has a 0 attack gain, so hopefully your monster is worth attacking with. Then they decided to give it more effect, that once per turn, if this card is sent from the grave to the graveyard, you can add 1 bamboo sword from your deck to your hand, except Cursed Bamboo Sword. So you can't grab a copy of itself, but you can grab the Broken Bamboo Sword, or you can grab the Golden Bamboo Sword to draw your cards. And so this turned out to be a pretty decent draw engine for certain decks, like Exodia and all that, decks that could afford to have these type of cards in there just to help thin the deck out and draw some cards, which is cool. So people have been using this kind of engine for a while. Then in our new set, new was when I'm recording this, what's it called, Darkwing Blast. We have a new original bamboo sword. So this card, the equipped card gains 0 attack. So again, we're with the 0 attack. When the equipped monster inflicts battle damage by a direct attack, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls. You can send this equipped card to the graveyard to equip 1 bamboo equip spell from your deck to a face-up monster on the field, except original bamboo sword. So that part's cool because it replaces itself. So if your opponent destroys the monster or whatever, you get another bamboo sword. Or if you just send this card to the graveyard somehow. But what's cool is it does work in conjunction with the Cursed Bamboo Sword, which allows your monster to attack directly. And then if you have the original bamboo sword, now you're going to destroy all monsters your opponent controls. I mean, it's quite a bit of work to try and Raigeki the field, but still pretty cool. And like I said, it's an equip spell, so there's a lot of ways to get this card to your hand. Then we had two other cards that kind of go with the set of cards, and they're both continuous spell cards that have different effects. So I know we got this one first. So we got the Soul Devouring Bamboo Sword. I think this one came first anyway. You select one monster equipped with a bamboo sword, so it could be any one of these. Obviously that's not an equip card, so it could be any one of these cards. Select one monster equipped with a bamboo sword. Equip spell. If it inflicts damage to your opponent while equipped with a bamboo sword card, they skip their next draw phase. Destroy this card during the second standby phase after activation. So you're really going to want to try and manipulate this card by bouncing it back to your hand, which there's a lot of cards that do that. You just got to worry about bouncing back the monster with the bamboo sword, because then you're going to lose your sword unless you have one that retrieves. So that's a pretty decent strategy. And then we also have the Burning Bamboo Sword. If you activate a Bamboo Sword card while this card is already face up in your spell and trap zone, you can skip your opponent's next main phase 1. So that might be a strategy as well. You might want to try and lock your opponent out. You could try and lock them out of their draw phase and their main phase 1. Basically what's going to happen is they're going to go right to their standby phase and then into the battle phase, and then into main phase 1. If you were able to lock them out of their draw phase and continuously bounce this card back, you're definitely going to put a lot of strain on your opponent, because they're not going to be able to draw a card unless they have effects that allow them to do so. So we got to think of how we would use this in a cohesive strategy. If you wanted to try and play all these cards together, like we do have here, you could target one other bamboo sword card you control and return it to the hand. So you probably could bounce this card back, because it is a bamboo sword, and that will actually create a little bit of a loop there. So you got to try and get all these cards out. So there are some cards that can actually help you with the continuous spell cards to try and get those to your hand. But if anything, you got your golden bamboo swords just to try and help you draw cards. So it's a pretty interesting set of cards that they created. Who knows how many more they're going to print, and it would be nice if there was other support for them as well. If there was monsters and stuff that supported them, maybe a monster you can send to the graveyard from your hand to grab a bamboo sword as well, or just various effects. It'd be nice to see a little bit more going on with this. Perhaps even a trap card or something that would work with these, like a broken bamboo trap or something that you can add two broken bamboo or two bamboo sword cards from your graveyard to your hand. Things like that, just to make this little cohesive strategy. But I just thought it was interesting that so much came from such a useless card, like the broken bamboo sword. And like I said, you don't even need to play the broken bamboo sword anymore. There's so many other options. Like some people might just play these two, or maybe the new one, I guess. I don't know. It's so many different options you can go with. So I don't think you have to always play the original, or maybe even just play one copy of it. Anyways, yeah, I just thought it would be fun to talk about this. There's there's certain cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that they make a little bit of a they make a bunch of cards around them, and then you kind of never hear them again. So it's nice to see that they are still working on making new stuff to support this. Anyways, let me know what you think. Have you ever used any of these cards? What's the reason you used them for? Was it just simply for draw power? Have you tried to incorporate them into trying to stop your opponent from drawing cards, or skipping their main phase? Maybe using other cards that kind of do the same thing, like oh geez, I can't think of the name right now, but there are those cards that do stop your opponent from having a main phase. They stop your opponent from having standby phases. You can just try and mess around with your opponent's phases. Cards like Time Seal that prevent your opponent from drawing a card or a drop off, or the deck probably would just be really, really annoying, if anything. Who knows if it would even win duels, but it might be a fun kind of rogue deck, or some kind of goofy deck to just play at your locals. I don't know if I would want to take something like this to a tournament. Anyways, let me know what you think. Throw some comments down below. Always like what you have to say. Hope you subscribe, and talk to you later.